Good afternoon, good evening for everyone joining us on both Zoom and the Facebook Live. Hopefully all the technology is working for everybody and you can all hear and join us in the call today. So my name is Sam. I work for IFCPF and I'm really pleased to be able to share this first transfer window webinar with you all. So the idea is that for our CP football family, we want to call on different experts, different people with ideas, perspectives to challenge the way that we work, bring new ideas and help us really to drive this beautiful game forward so that more people in every country all around the world can really benefit from our sport, getting involved in football and really making new friends and enjoying all the opportunities that it has for so many people. So we have three very inspirational women on the call today. We've handpicked them to share their ideas and thoughts with you. So I'll hand over in a second, but we've got Gabriella, who's the chair of our female development group at IFCPF, and also our lead person on our Erasmus EU research project around CP football female. We've also got Nicole from Australia, so she joins us. She's the athlete representative on our female development group, but also attended the camp in Asia, Oceania last year, hosted in Australia. And she's also got a long history in football before her acquired disability, so it'd be great to hear from Nicole. And then we have Sue join us from Catalonia. So she was involved in our very first camp in Barcelona, when we had players from all different countries. And then last year, she also joined us for the European camp hosted in the Netherlands. So a lot of experience between the three of them. So I'll hand over to Gabriella to lead the call today, but it will be around 30, 40 minutes or so of discussion between the three ladies to share all their perspectives. And then please do send us your questions either for those on the Zoom call in the chat or on Facebook. You can type them in the comments on Facebook Live, and we'll try and get as many of those to the ladies as we can. So Gabriella, thank you, and over to you.
Yes, and if everything's working, then I'm now in the spotlight. Thank you, Sam, for the introduction, and welcome everyone. Although we can't see you, we still appreciate it that you are watching and taking time to learn more about the female perspective in CP football, and hopefully not only learn, but also be part of our movement, be part of the discussion, be part of the amazing athletes that are gathering more and more. As Sam said, I'm in the female CP football development group, or as we would like to call it, CP football female development group, because the CP football part is for us always the most important. And if it's male or if it's female, that's a second thing to add on the word. So I'm here with Sue, Susanna, and with Nicole. So Sue, would you like to introduce yourself first?
Yes. Hi, I'm Sue from Spain. I'm 28 years old. It's a great pleasure to be here with us. And thank you, Sam, too, for do this possible. And I think that it's so important that we can be here today for speak about the female CP football, and it's a great opportunity for grow up and for give us more options, and that's it. Thank you so much.
Can you tell a little bit more of what you do in daily life, like work or study, or besides playing football?
Yes, actually, I'm studying in college psychology, and working too. I'm staying in an emergency center of Barcelona, and now we having a hard work for the COVID and all the things that all of you knows. Yes, I'm start play football. Actually, 9 years ago, but then I have a break, and then I come back. Maybe 4 years ago with girls, and then I want to improve myself, and so I'm decide start training with boys, and I think that it's one of the best ideas for me and for my style of game, and how I played now.
Thank you. So we'll
You're
come back
welcome.
on that later. Nicole, can you introduce yourself too and tell us more?
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Nicole. I am 27 years old from Sydney, Australia. I am the athletes representative for the International Federation of CP Football, the Female Development Group, and I am a high school teacher. I teach students from the ages of 12 to 18. I teach them food technology, textiles, design and technology, all of that sort of stuff. And a few of them are actually watching today, so they're very excited to be seeing their teacher speaking about football to the world. I've been playing football for a very long time, ever since I was very young. I actually had a stroke 6 years ago, so that has changed the way my limbs work, the way my brain functions and thinks. And yeah, it's just for the last 6 years, I've been getting used to my new life. So that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, thank you very much. And for the ones who didn't see it yet, Nicole had made a video of her story, also about the stroke and about all the things she had to do to become the athlete she's now, to become a football player again. Can you tell us more, Nicole, about what CP football means to you, that you can play football again?
Yeah, sure. So basically, CP football is, okay, it's given me a second chance at life. If I put it in a few words, it is basically giving me my life back. Because before I found CP football, I thought that was it. I didn't have something to look forward to. I felt like I had nothing to give to the world. I honestly felt like I was going to be working in a factory or something for the rest of my life. I was told by doctors that I wouldn't be able to work, that I wouldn't be able to finish university. But because I found the football, it's as you would see in the video if you had watched it, it has helped me like regain some strength, reduce my fatigue. It has helped me with my thinking skills. So it's helped me with a lot of my processing speed, my thinking speed, my attention, my decision making. All of these sorts of things have improved my skills dramatically. So I'm very grateful. And these are not things you would usually see in an able-bodied person. So you wouldn't notice these normally. But because I've gone through this experience, I've seen these changes, and they've made big changes. So it makes a difference, big difference.
And I think, especially for the people in the CP football community already, I think they have known similar stories of boys, of men who have made these big life changes because of the sport, because of the opportunities of the sport. So Sue, I want to go back to you and ask you, in 2018, we had the first camp for CP football female. It was in Spain. A lot of people told us, well, there are not enough players. For sure, there are a lot of male players, but female players, come on, dream on. There won't be enough for a camp. So Sue, can you tell us how you experienced that first event?
Yes, for me, it was a great experience. And yeah, it's so amazing to be part of that history for the CP female football. And yeah, I think that all the organization and all the staff and all the people who makes that possible support us so much. And I think that that's the first step for the develop of CP female football. And it was a honor for me to be part of that.
And you mentioned it's the first step. I remember I was at that camp too, with 2 players from the Netherlands. We were with 13 players in total. The next year, we all felt the energy, the urge to organize another camp. So there was a camp in the Netherlands with even more players. So we're making steps. What do you think is the next step for the development? What is really necessary at the moment?
I think that for me, the next step maybe will be to do a World Cup, but that I hope to be possible the next year. And I think that it's amazing. And maybe we can think about to do more teams in our countries. For maybe we can participate in a tournament for our country, and then maybe we can do a selection for build the best teams, and then we can see each other in the pitch.
Yeah. So maybe more regional activities, more options for selection within a country.
Yes.
For the people who don't know it, this June and July we should have had our first World Cup, our first event for female players from all over the world. But because of the COVID, it's now hopefully next year. So we have even more time to develop other countries, other teams in the meantime. And Nicole, if we go back to you and the other side of the world, Australia, Oceania, what do you think is necessary for the development? What is the next step, and what really needs to be changed to develop CP football female?
Okay, so I feel like we need, because Australia is such a big country, we hardly get together with the team because we live in different parts of the world. If you want to imagine how big Australia is, it's the whole of Europe condensed into one country. So I feel like it's very important for us to have more camps, to spend more time with our team, with our coaches. I feel that because I'm in Sydney, I'm very lucky that we have many more opportunities than the people that live out in other cities, because they don't have as many opportunities in regards to cerebral palsy. I'm very lucky. So I feel like more trainings and more opportunities for people with cerebral palsy necessary for improvement and development.
And Nicole, what would you say to people who maybe think that sports for people with cerebral palsy or other brain injuries is maybe unsafe, or who hesitate to let their child playing? What would you say to them?
No, I think the best thing they can do for themselves, for their, because it has, even though some of the benefits might be invisible, they're still happening, because all these new connections are happening in the brain. So the more you practice a skill, the better your body, the better you'll become at it. The stronger the neural connection will get, and the more you will improve, whether it's a physical skill or a mental skill. I've had a few therapy sessions with neuropsychologists, and they've showed me a video of the different neural pathways connecting when you learn a new skill. And it's amazing. Like you can take the skill from the sport and take it into something else, like what I have done from football to university and now becoming a teacher. So that in return of it's helped me become successful in life as well. Yep. So both in sport and outside of sport.
Yeah, and if we compare it to the opportunities that male players already have, it's amazing to see the players grow. And for you, Nicole, do you think there are any differences between CP football for male players or female players in the experience or the opportunities? Anything?
Yeah. So in regards to this topic, I think a lot of people have different views or opinions. A lot of people like the fact that we are mixing with the males in regards to us developing our strength, our speed, our becoming aggressive within the game. But then again, we need to think about the fact that we are built to be much more smaller than males. They're stronger than us, they're faster than us, we are more prone to injury. So ideally, I feel that we should have our own competition separate to boys, even though it's okay to be involved with them from time to time, but on a regular basis, I think it'll be a little bit risky in regards to injury. Yeah, because I've had an injury when I was playing with men, and I don't want that happening again. That means 4 months with no football, and that's not an option.
I can imagine. Being injured is never a good thing.
No.
And Sue, do you agree with Nicole, or do you think differently about playing separate or together with male players?
No, I'm totally agree with that, Nicole, and I think that it's good for girls. The thing that we can be part of a mixed team. Only in training, I think that it's a good idea, because they are more stronger than us, that Nicole says. He has more speed, they are bigger, and I think that it's a good challenge for us, and then we can more a lot, and we can improve ourselves, and we can be so much better.
Yeah, so if I hear it well from the both of you, it's very important to have the possibility to play in mixed teams, but also to have the possibility to play in separate teams, for example, for matches, competition, because of injuries, but also physical skills. So how do you think, so how can we get more female players? How can we make sure that will happen?
I don't really know, actually. I think that it's so important that the fusion, and let's talk about us and make massage for the people, and for they can know about us and about our football, and then maybe they will be interested in that, and then more girls we can prove and ask to their families, and if they can go and play. I think so.
Yeah, so to give the people who are watching also an example from the situation in Europe, where I'm living too. The camp, I met Sue in 2018. We were with 13 players, 2 from the Netherlands, 9 from Spain, Catalonia, but also 2 players from Japan who I see are also watching. So that's really nice to have them in some way at this show too, this webinar. And the next camp, a year after, there were suddenly popping up players from Germany, from Denmark. Nowadays also in England, female players are active. So in Europe, it's amazing to see every year that the message is spreading. So I was thinking, Nicole, can you tell us more about how that works in Australia? You started yourself, or do you have a team now? Can you tell more about the challenges you have faced, and what do you think it's necessary to get more female players?
Okay, so in regards to the challenges, the first challenge, I think, is the thing that the opportunities, how first I had to start playing with the younger players to get involved. Then I started playing with the male players, with some other females as well. And we played a tournament with the different cities from Australia. We come together and we played. So 5 females with maybe like 90 males or something like that. And we all had a go at for the first time ever last year in October. I don't know. I feel like the opportunities for females were much less, but within the last year, we've been involved a lot more with the males, which is a good thing. One challenge is that we have some training sessions we attend, but a lot of our teammates live too far away, and that makes it difficult for them to come and train with us. And they've also got, so because I'm in Sydney, I've got much more opportunity, obviously, than some of the people that live out. So maybe the challenges lie more more with the other people that live in the other cities who don't have as many opportunities with playing football or training.
And in the meantime, I see in the chat that also people from Africa and Japan are attending. Welcome, and we would like to also ask you, what are for you, what's your story in your country, and how do you think that CP football female can grow in your country? And back to you, Nicole. You mentioned to me before this meeting that some people were very important to you after your stroke to become an athlete, a football player again. What do you think are the most important people or organizations to target if you want to grow the CP football in your country?
Okay, so if I want to explain this in more simple way, when I had my stroke, I was in hospital, and there was a nurse that used to come and see me every day. She had a stroke as well, and I used to want to see her all the time because she was what I wanted to become. I would see her, she looked like nothing ever happened to her, and I wanted to be like that too. So basically, when I'm involved with I'm involved a lot with the younger CP footballers, and to see the men's national team and the boys involved, they look up to the men's national team a lot, and they have something to aspire and to work towards. Whereas the females in my country, I feel like they hadn't had that until now, and I feel like whenever I'm around them, they tend to look up to me and to the other older female players, and they tell us how much they want to be like us and how we motivate them to want to train. So I feel like having that role model there makes a big difference, and it will help to develop the sport, particularly with the females, because they have someone to look up to and something to work towards. It's a little bit hard to aspire to work towards something if you don't have that goal there. Whereas if you do, like now how we're developing the female national team, I feel like they too are going to be trying harder, and that's going to motivate them to want to try harder. And therefore we're going to recruit many more females. And I know there are lots in Australia.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think too that, for example, having a camp or a World Cup or a big international event helps a lot to have the motivation to train to this amazing event and to go there and learn so much about football, but also about yourself, the travel and everything. That's really important during such an event. I see it also in the Netherlands. That's maybe another example. We now have a team. The oldest one is about 24. The youngest is 8, and she's really looking up to the older girls. One of them had just had her driver's license. So all the other girls were like, how did you do it? Where did you go? Can you explain to me? Can I do it too? And you see that this role model thing is really important, that within the football, but also within other areas. Sue, if we come back for you for a minute, how do you think about this role model idea? Do you think it's important too, and in what way?
Yeah, I think that it's important that the young girls can dream to be a female CP football player, and I think that for that they need to look some to look players and to think that, oh, one day I will be you. And that's, I think that it's the best important point to growing up in that sport.
Yeah, and Sue, for you, the question: what is your dream with this CP football, with sports? What would you like to achieve? Or
my dream is that the recognition, because we are here and we are part of that too, and we are girls and we are strong, and that's it, and we have the same opportunities that the men CP football.
yeah, so I think that's a really good statement to make with the three of us. To everyone who's watching, and also all the amazing female players who are watching, to make this statement that we are here, that you are here, that we have enough players, we have the motivation, we have the skills, but we need the opportunities to make it to make it also our game. I think that's maybe really good to mention. And Nicole, if we go back to you, what's your dream with this CP football, with your passion? What would you like to achieve?
My dream is to take my team with me. We'll all go together to the Paralympics, and we're going to win gold for Australia. Yeah, and we're gonna do it.
Like me. Like me too.
We're gonna get the gold.
Oh man, the challenge for gold is already.
There we go. Bring it on, Spain.
So for both of you, if we keep on dreaming, how would this World Cup, what does it look like? What are we doing? How many matches do we play? What are the rules? How do you see it when you dream away?
I think the five-a-side game is a very good start. So we could start with a five-a-side. Hopefully that will attract more females as we gain exposure and as we become more known to the world. I think that'll help along the way with the development of the female game.
Yes, I think that it's a good start for us. And I dream big, and I think that we can play a lot of games, and they will be very disputed, and I think that gonna be a lot of level, I think.
Yeah, I think it's we have to wait a year until the World Cup. That will be a long year. But it's good to hear that you're so enthusiastic about everything, and I really think that if we continue with all the people involved, step by step, we can create this amazing CP football community for female and male players, and all together and separate whenever needed. So Sue, is there any like last message you want to give, something to share what you maybe didn't have the opportunity to yet?
No, I think that it's good. I don't have any new.
And Nicole, do you have a final statement? Something you really want to share?
No, I don't think so. I just think to all the females to dream big and to never give up. And yeah, we're gonna get our time as well to shine.
We will get our time to shine. That's maybe a good statement, like a good quote from this webinar. So Sam Turner of IFCPF is also still here. I think we have talked about a lot of things, and I want to give the word back to Sam to see maybe he knows if there are any questions from people who are watching, and then we can end this first session of the webinar. So Sam, back to you.
Hi everyone. So yeah, it's been great listening to everything that you've been saying. A lot of nice things there, matching with stuff that IFCPF is already doing and our members, but also things that we can learn from, and things that our members can learn from as well. I've been watching some of the things popping up on Facebook on the questions and stuff. I think maybe if both Sue and Nicole, if you have any questions for me and Gabriella around the work that IFCPF is doing, and then maybe while we're answering some of those questions, if anybody on Facebook or on Zoom wants to put in the chat or the comments any questions that they have, then we can answer those as well. So feel free, Nicole and Sue, don't hold back. Ask anything that you want to, and we'll try and help as much as we can.
Okay, Sam, what does the female game look like within the next 12 months from now until the World Cup? Is there anything planned or?
Yeah, so a really good question. One thing I want to start on, just to answer around that, I saw a comment pop up from a player in Japan on Facebook. Something that we're working really hard to do is make sure that the female game is seen exactly the same as the male game. So I was watching the FIFA World Cup, and I saw, and I picked up the fact that it's called the FIFA World Cup, and then it's called the Female World Cup. And for me, this was a big thing. So we decided in IFCPF that we were going to call it the World Cup Male and the World Cup Female, so that both were seen equally. You know, so we don't just talk about gender when it's only female, but we talk about gender equally for both. So in answering your question, a big part there is making sure that we profile the events the same level, the same respect, the same mentions of gender on anything. We had a meeting of the female development group just the other week, and we maybe have an idea there around doing maybe a virtual World Cup. Gabrielle and I still have to do a bit of thinking about that to make it happen, but maybe we can do something through the wonders of technology, Zoom and stuff like that, to keep players active, keep players connected to each other. But a virtual World Cup is definitely an idea to keep us going until the real one happens next year, and also the development camp that will happen alongside the World Cup, so that we provide, you know, opportunities for all players, not just the top 10 in each country.
Sam, in the meantime, we have two questions at the Facebook for the both of us. The first one is from Leonie. I think she's from Australia because she commented on Australia winning the World Cup. We have to talk about that a little bit more. But the question was, when do you think the female World Cup will take place? Do you want to answer, or do you want me to answer?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, Leonie, thank you for your question. It would have been this year, but unfortunately, it has to be hopefully next year. The specific dates are not yet published, so you have to have a little bit more patience, but we really hope that next year we can do it again, or for the first time, actually.
Yeah, and also adding to that, Leonie's asked around if it's still happening in Spain. So yeah, it's going to be the same organising committee, same place. So it'll be in lovely sunny Barcelona, around the same time next year. And then our good friend Paulo in Brazil, a great guy developing CP football over there, a long history. So thank you for joining us, Paulo. But he's also asked about the teams. So just to tell a very short story on the World Cup, when we first discussed the idea, so many people said, a World Cup, really, already? There's no chance. It's why do a World Cup? That's years away. But we decided in IFCPF that if we're going to make the game happen, we need to go strong, we need to go hard, and we need to make a statement. So we put the World Cup in the diary, not with any teams. And we thought, hopefully this works. We put it, and we filled the 8 teams quota that we set for the first World Cup. So we had 8 teams ready to compete in the first World Cup. So going from no teams to 8 for the World Cup is absolutely fantastic, and it's a credit to all of you who've been involved in the development activities already, and really making this sport grow so quickly, but in the right way.
Yeah, and there was another question about the development of female CP football, for example, in Africa, and what will be what are the opportunities there. So I think it's from Dennis. I know that there are some female players in Kenya who are almost participating in the camp last year in the Netherlands. Unfortunately, it didn't work out at last, but also in Africa there are really developments going on. But perhaps Sam, you can add some more information.
Yeah, so obviously Africa for all parasport is a real challenge around resources, but thinking creatively about how we do it. So we have a project group being put together at the moment around how do we do things differently in Africa to make sure that we really do it and we don't just say, oh, okay, it never happens. But so we can give that direct support to IFCPF members and to new countries. So that's really important. But then also it's making sure that we showcase the work that's already happening. So Gabriella's mentioned about Kenya. So we have Lydia in Kenya, who's an inspirational woman leading the CP football program there, and she's found so many female players. And then in other African countries, such as Ghana, with Dennis and Anne, they're doing some fantastic work again. So the challenge for us in IFCPF is to make sure that we show that, because when we don't see anything, don't see any activity, we think, oh, it doesn't happen and there's no chance. When we share things like we mentioned about the story of Nicole earlier, it's like, oh wow, actually, no matter what the challenges are, we can overcome it. So that's a big thing for us. We've got to make sure that we show the good things that already happen and connect members so they learn from each other. And that was the point of today, is we can share some information, but there's more experts out there. Our members are experts to show one another, and also the players we have on the call today. So I'm sure that Nicole and Sue can give us some ideas about how we find more players into those countries who say, you know, we haven't got any female players with CP. Well, okay, how do we find them?
Yeah, so let's get back to Sue or Nicole. Nicole, I see you unmuted, so I think you would like to give a reaction on that. How can we find those female players? Where do we have to look?
Okay, when I was, so some of our team members were featured with the able-bodied national team on the news at the end of last year. And when I went to school the next day, a lot of my students came up to me and said, Miss, you were on TV, you were on TV. And with that, like, I feel like if we were on something like the news, the morning news or something, with the word of mouth, I think people talk, and then people will say, you know, there's a female CP development group happening or a competition happening, they're looking for players. I think that's a good way. That's one good way. I mean, because I work in a school and there are lots of people in the school, they all talk. Do you know what I mean? And I think if it travels by mouth. So that's one way I think is a good idea.
And I think it's also good to mention for everyone who's watching that we're now talking, for example, about the World Cup, but there are also activities for players who are maybe too young to participate in such a competition, or who are maybe not yet experienced enough or want to develop themselves a little bit more before really going into such a competition and going for that gold medal. Also next year at the World Cup, there will be some kind of a development opportunity, some kind of development camp. And Sue, maybe you can explain the people a little bit more what it was like to be at one of those camps. Why should people attend those camps?
Yes, I think that it's so important. Because in that way the people knows about that sport, and then they can be interested, and in that way I think that we can find more girls, and that's it. Yeah. So it's important to do that things like camps and World Cup and all of that things for distribution and for do that people know about us.
Yeah, and
Sorry for my English. It's not the best. I know.
It's okay. I'm also not a native speaker, so if we understand each other, it's perfect.
Okay.
And Sue, there's a question for you on Facebook is how many players do you have in your team at this moment? What's your team like?
Yeah, at this moment, we have 9 players. But all of us are from Catalonia, and I think that it's so important that we can do more visibility to the rest of the country, and maybe we create more teams around Spain.
Yeah, and I think that's what we have in the Netherlands is a situation where people from all of the country can come to one place within a okay amount of time. So, but as you can hear in many countries, that's different. In Spain or in Australia, even more. The distances are bigger. So that's also a good thing to think about. To maybe now we had some international camps, but maybe also for countries who are too big to organize just a camp within their country.
Yes.
And what we have seen in Spain, in Catalonia in 2018 is that with 13 players, you can have this amazing camp. You don't need 50 or 60 to organize something. You can just start at one point and grow step by step.
Yes, I think that it's so important, and I think that it's important too that the opportunity for the coach and for the staff to study, to learn more about CP and more about our style of game, because I think that with good professionals we can grow up a lot, and I think that they need more recognition too.
Yeah. And Nicole, do you also have some advice for all the coaches or professionals who are watching?
Yes, I do. I've had many coaches for the last 2 years involved with CP football, and most of them have been amazing. I just feel like one main point that I want to get across is that, you know, we've some of us, or most of us, have experienced some traumatic things. So I feel like sometimes we need to take caution when we speak to the players. I know it might not be meant in a bad or a negative way, but we need to just watch the way we say things, and we need to know that people like me or my teammates do experience a lot of things like discrimination and things, and you know, we might be a little bit more sensitive when it comes to different things. So just keep it in mind. That's all I wanted to say.
And Sam, if I ask that question to you or to us from IFCPF, what do you see as the opportunities for coaches who are watching and maybe think, hey, I want to learn more about CP football? What are the opportunities within IFCPF?
Yeah, so I think something we always talk about when we're working with new countries is so coaches are football coaches first and foremost. So it's the skill of being a coach. So you should follow your national association's training on football coaching, also workshops and training around like equality and diversity and around understanding of disability. So a lot of those things exist. But then IFCPF, you know, today is the first of these transfer window webinars. And then if you look at our education page on our website, so under development, you go down to education, and there's kind of 6 tools that we're utilizing to educate people. So that's around written resources and documents, things that people can take their time and read, or maybe links to online sources of information. These kind of webinars, but also we're going to do some team talks where we get people in a group and we discuss a key theme so that people can really chat and discuss and interact. Another thing is that we deliver face-to-face training in countries as well. So when a country is first starting, maybe we go and deliver a face-to-face course. And at the moment, we're currently developing our own online education platform as well. So that provide online courses or little things that people can do. But it's also important that, you know, like Nicole does as a teacher, is you take responsibility for your own learning as well. In that, in Australia, there's the Cerebral Palsy Alliance, who are an amazing organisation with so much information about CP. And there's Headway, a brain injury charity in England, who are, again, one of the world experts on acquired brain injuries and things as well. And so many other organisations out there. And during these times of everybody being stuck at home, there's a lot of online courses and things like that. So I think there's so many opportunities and ways to learn. But at the end of the day, IFCPF is a small organisation, and you don't have to go through departments and lots of people to get to the right person. You can contact me directly via Facebook or email or our website and ask the questions directly to the experts that we have in our organisation, and we can provide that support directly to people. So never think that you're a coach, the only person in the world facing those challenges, because like I think our players share, that when they go to our events, they find out, oh, I'm not the only person with CP, or I'm not the only person who has this challenge. Actually, there's so many more others around the world. And that's the aim of what we're doing, is let's connect people, let's share those challenges, but let's share our solutions as well.
Yeah, and I think that's really important what you mentioned, that we all have to connect to grow this community, but also to step out of this community of CP football and share all our knowledge and all our wonderful experiences with other people in the world, with other football coaches or with parents. And I see there's one more question. I think maybe Sue or Nicole, this is one for you to say something about it. How do currently the age differences in the team affect the team dynamics and social aspects? Yours, thank you for that question.
In our team, I think that we are very close together, and doesn't matter the ages, but it's true that when we speak about social life, it's more difficult. Maybe the team are divided. I don't know how to say in English. In 3 groups inside the team for ages, but when we speak about the game, we are together, and I think that all of us are the important pieces, and anybody is more than others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I feel that, as Sue has said, we are very close as a team as well. I feel that the older players in my team play more of a leadership role, and we guide the younger players. So we sort of keep them under our wing, and we guide them and we support them, and you know, we give them advice and stuff for them to grow. Yeah, we share our experiences with them.
Yeah, like us too.
Yeah.
And I think I can agree for the team in the Netherlands too, that of course some of the older players want to have a bit of more challenge during a training session. They want to really learn something, and that grows now with such an event as the World Cup coming. you can see that something changes in the way they want to experience the training sessions. But what I also see as being a coach, an assistant, a team manager, some of everything, a bit of everything, that it's really, maybe that's because of it's a female team, I don't know, but that there's this dynamics between all the girls from any age. They want to help each other, learn from each other, and if it's possible, they want to really have a challenge. But at the end, the most important thing is being a team. I think that's one of the one of the things that's really key for female CP football, perhaps.
Gabriella, there was a couple more questions just picked up on the Facebook. So there's a question, I think, from Japan about how do we want to spread female CP football long term. And I think, you know, that's a really good question. I think there's definitely some ideas for the players there. I think we spoke about the World Cup and stuff like that. But having that World Cup will then help us to establish a 4-year competition cycle like we have for male players. We've also input the Champions League, which will start hopefully taking place first edition end of this year, but that's for mixed teams. So again, another way for players to engage. And we're growing our ambassador program as well. So we have female ambassadors, so we're developing more. So I know that Mai is on the call on Facebook. She's watching in, so she's one of our female ambassadors. And we also have Yara in the Netherlands. We're trying to show all the faces of the game. So really to get that representation, that promotion of the game. And then I think really trying to, as much as possible, have equality of structure. So we've got the female structure the same as the male structure, but then also we need to respect and learn from how, you know, we want to do it specifically for female players. And that's one of the things that we're in the middle of at the moment. So starting this January through to the end of 2021, we have an EU research project, which is about saying we don't want to just do the same game for male and female players, but actually it's for female football. How do we need to set it up? What do female players want from the game? You know, how do we tailor it and make it very specific so it's very athlete-centered, athlete-led, and it's designed to meet those needs and wants of, you know, how does a female player want to engage with a game of football? We're not just going to copy-paste from the male players, but actually let's take our time and do it properly so it's right for those who want to play it.
Yeah, so I think that's also one of the most important messages from this webinar is if you want to help to develop the game, if you're already involved in the game, make sure you always get that player's perspective. Ask the female players in your country if they're not in your country, or if you didn't find them in your country yet, then ask Sue, ask Nicole, ask someone from the IFCPF, because we have many female players involved who would love to share their stories and help you to expand your knowledge, to make this beautiful game for everyone. So I think it's 1 o'clock now. I think it's a good time to wrap up this live session. For me, I want to really thank all the people who have watched. Also Sue and Nicole for your participation. I think it's really good that we are having this attention for the game. So maybe you want to say a last thing before we close up.
Yeah, I want to say thank you to all of us for giving me that opportunity.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity, for all the development that's been happening for the female game, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone in Spain, hopefully next year. if we're allowed to leave the country. Hopefully next year.
Let's hope.
Yeah.
Sam, some closing words?
Yeah, I think this, thank you to the three of you for joining today. I know it's different times for everybody, but really by sharing those things is going to help us all to learn. We are probably one of the only sports in the world where we talk about CP football family, and we mean that. It's not just a nice thing to say, but it's how connected we are. We share, we look after one another, we grow the game, no matter what team or country we're in. We have no differences in that way. We support each other. But now the challenge is not for the ladies on the call, but we're putting the challenge back out to all of you. What is the difference that you're going to make from today? Don't just sit and watch Facebook for an hour and have a nice time, but actually let's take it away now and make a difference. Can you find one female player who doesn't know about the game and will now fall in love with it and grow with it? That could be your challenge. What part are you going to play? So really take away from today, let's make a difference. Check out the Facebook group that we've got. So again, we're trying to build that to connect all female players, anyone who's involved in the game. It's IFCPF CP Football Female Community. Very long name, but we'll share the link and you can find it on our page. Go and watch Nicole's video. I guarantee that if you watch that, you will be involved in our game afterwards, because you'd be so inspired and you'll see how much of a difference the game makes. So yeah, from today, go away, let's make a difference. And hopefully soon, Gabriella and I can share with you a few more upcoming webinars, some more transfer window talks of other people that are going to get involved as well. Right, so thank you, Gabriella, for your work today, for hosting. We tried the technology, the first time worked, so it was fantastic. So we'll be back again soon. Please keep in touch. Please contact us with anything you need. But thank you for joining us, and yeah, we'll see you soon.